everyone, welcome back to the channel. As you may know, I have a thing about trains. I don't know why, but they just make me so happy. And today we get a treat. We get to tour the Monterey Salinas Railroad Museum. Let's go explore. The Monterey and Salinas Valley Railroad Museum starts off in the main office, which is filled with lots of antiques and artifacts to explore even before you start your tour.
I'm Mark Dorman. I'm one of the superintendents here at the Monterey and Salinas Valley Railroad. We have a REA building here, built in 1918. We have a caboose built in 1916 outside, and a reefer car from 1924. Those are our big historic items. We have a diorama inside here that represents the valley, the height of lettuce and produce production here in the Salinas Valley, 1940 to 1960, 65. Fun time to come. People are always welcome on an open house. We have a junior engineer program for the young ones to run trains and trying to teach them how to run. I also have a program for young people or older people that want to learn how to run too. So let the tour begin. Okay, this diorama, the entire diorama is the Salinas Valley. This is the northern terminus of this is the Logan Quarry run by Granite Rock. And it is in operation today. This is kind of pretty much how it looked back in the 40s and 50s. So it's more representative. It's not certainly an exact replica. This is just north of the power plant at Moss Landing. This is the old salt factory. It was in operation to the mid-60s where they harvested sea salt. This is the Elkhorn Slough itself. You'll notice it doesn't look like this today. This is when it was filled in, a lot of it, and they put in grazing and pasture and whatnot. That was all removed and they returned it back to the natural habitat today. Now there's a legend, story, fact, each aside, that the reason we live in Salinas is a bunch of guys got together, a Mr. Jackson and Mr. Abbott and some other folks, and convinced Southern Pacific with cheap land to build the big station here instead of Castroville. So that's why we live in Salinas instead of Castroville. As you come down, this is Cooper Road. You notice the beet gone here. You'll notice they're loading the sugar beets that have been harvested in the field, and they're being put in the loader, and then the loader puts them in the gondola car, and you'll see those and how they're processed when we get to the sugar factory. That ice plant here made the ice, went down underneath on a conveyor belt, came up on the conveyor belt, and then it was the men pushed it into the cars here. And I'll show you when we go look at the reefer car how that works on the inside of the reefer car. Okay. At the time, all produce was shipped in wood boxes, no cardboard. It was until the mid-60s, early 60s at best, before they started using cardboard. Mm-hmm. Everything else was shipped in wood boxes because the ice would melt and the cardboard would just disintegrate. So they used wood boxes.
That's fun.
Right. Spiegel Farms packing. We have the wax paper factory, wax paper plant, which is still in operation today.
Wait, there used to be a drive-in here?
Oh yeah, Skyview, big time. Built by Mr. Klaus Freckles. He built this. Originally, his operation, he had the Pajaro Valley Railroad, and the Pajaro Valley Railroad it serviced his sugar plant in Watsonville, and he also serviced farmers taking goods for shipment to Moss Landing. Well, when they started growing enough sugar beets down here, he realized it would be cheaper to build a plant here than ship the beets all the way to Watsonville.
John Steinbeck's father ran the factory and wanted John to join him, but John loved riding.
And now we're in Gonzales, and you can see this is Gonzales Station and Gonzales Packing. You'll notice the Alpine Milk Company processed 90-some-odd% of all the milk generated in the valley before all the dairy was here. One and only railroad tunnel in the county. It's at Metz Road. They actually came out, went around this mountain and around. But engineers failed to slow down because they get going at high speed. Well, they didn't slow down and they wind up putting the engines on its side, going too fast. So after enough of those, the Southern Pacific decided it'd be cheaper to punch a hole in the mountain and go straight. And now you're coming out of the tunnel. Now notice the KSBW tower. There you are. This is the King City Station. That is a new addition, relatively new.
So you're constantly adding to this.
Oh yeah, we got a long way. We'll notice all the bare wood. Oh yeah, constantly. This is a track diagram. This shows you with the rails. So, and the lights say, like here's a turnout. It tells me, well, am I going to go straight or am I going to go across?
How often? I mean, what is the schedule for opening?
We are open the first full weekend of every month, 10 to 4. So it's first Friday and Saturday and Sunday of every month. The first full weekend.
Okay. And what's admission fees?
It's free.
Wonderful.
Free.
Wow, so that really makes it very accessible for everybody.
Yes.
There's so much cool memorabilia here. It just kind of sucks you into where you can't stop looking at everything. We hope you're enjoying this exclusive private tour, and thanks for bopping that like button for us. It helps to let the algorithm know to share it to more people on YouTube. So seriously cool here. If you love trains, this is going to be a place you want to come. Not only did we have the models that you saw out there, but you get to go into some of the trains and they tell you how it worked, why it worked. So you definitely want to come and visit here. Let's keep exploring, find out more.
Came from Growers Ice, the Gein family. They donated to the city.
The caboose was manned by 3 workers in case of emergency. If one occurred, then 2 of the workers would hop off the train in different directions to put down warning markers for other trains, while the 3rd tried to figure out what was wrong and fix it. They cooked and ate their meals on board, slept in pull-down bunks, watched carefully for trouble up in the hotbox, and hoped that each trip would go smoothly.
Notice that there's no bearing, it's just a bushing. So you just got this brass thing and a steel rod, and they go around. So the only thing they got to keep it from getting hot is the lubrication. Now you'll notice in there, if you take a look, there's a rag, or like a mop. So you put the lubricant in there, it gets warm, and the mop soaks it up and lubricates. Well, if you don't have enough, it gets too hot. It starts to smoke, starts to burn, catch fire, wooden car.
Oh.
Not a good thing. So they're looking at it's called a hot box.
Okay.
Right? So they're up there looking, and they'll see the smoke start to come.
Right.
And then they say, oh, we got a problem here. And you go back in the old day when they had dairy farms. In fact, they make reference to the milk run in East of Eden. And at least there was a reference in the play I watched at Hartnell many moons ago.
Yeah.
What it is along the track, they have these little platforms, and the dairy people would put their stuff to be picked up on the platform, and the train come by and they would stop and pick it up. And that was happening every, often.
Yeah.
It was picking up the milk run.
Oh,
And that's why it takes forever, is because you're stopping all the time.
Yeah.
First of all, most of this stuff came from the Steinbeck Museum.
Mm-hmm.
At one time, there was a great big ag display in the museum itself.
Right.
So this is a refrigerator car. This was built in 1924. In East of Eden, they talk about when they first tried it, it didn't work out too well. They didn't have it insulated enough, and all the ice melted and all that stuff. Take a look. That's what the insulation is. Anybody have any idea what it is?
Oh, look. Buffalo hide.
Horsehair.
Horsehair. Who said that?
I did.
You got it. So here they're loading the ice that comes off the thing, and they load it in there. You can see they fill it up. They're using they have tools to manipulate these great big blocks of ice. This is about how big they were. So here they're doing what they call the top icing. So they would you get it loaded, then they would put crushed ice on the top. What the crushed ice does is it melts very quickly and cold right now.
This steam locomotive was used to move freight and passenger cars from one track to another until 1956.
And one of the fun things about this yard is it's a working yard. So a few times every day you can come down here and watch the trains come through. Amtrak and more of these type of shipping container type trains come through several times every day.
This is a combination car. It had two functions. It was a post office car.
That's cool.
A post office car and REA baggage or shipping car. And if you look right here, there was a wall. That's post office. This was REA. So the mail was picked up. When they pick up the mail and start to sort it. When they would buy a place that they were going to, for example, we set this car up to service from, where does it start? I want to say San Francisco. I think we started. Did we go to San Francisco? Yeah, San Francisco north, and the end is San Luis Obispo. So this is set up to San Francisco and back and forth. So when you go to a place like Chular, you got mail for Chular, but you don't stop. How do you deliver the mail?
Throw it out the cart.
You're exactly right. You open up the door and dump it. You got Wells Fargo, you know, the packages coming on the stage wagon, and Music Man, they talk about they can't wait for the stage to come because the package is on it. Well, those are all express companies. They're independent. They weren't one, right? Wells Fargo, American Express, Wells Fargo Express, Minnesota Express, John Williams Express, pick one. So you ship them from something from San Francisco to New York, you could take, one time it would take 2 weeks, next time it would take 3 months.
Oh my goodness.
Because you never knew, because once you left the carrier that accepted the package for shipment, the next guy didn't have a penchant to get it moved. He's worried about his customers first. Long story short, they put everybody in a room and they told figure it out. So they figured out the right price and all this stuff and who's going to do what and everything. And the bottom line is, what you now have is you have one express company with the same business model as UPS or FedEx today, right? Door-to-door delivery, or you can take it down, like the REA building, you can take it there and have it shipped, or you can come there and pick it up, or they would deliver it, you know, whatever, just like FedEx or UPS today. And instead of using airplanes to move the stuff, they use it on railroad cars.
So this was a super cool place to visit. If you happen to be in the Salinas area, come on by, hopefully the first weekend of the month, so you can take a tour as well. I'll go ahead and link the website down below so you can find out the schedule, whatever special events they have going on, so you can come here too. Until next video, take care, safe travels, and we'll see you next time.
We had fun exploring the train station, which is located just a block from Old Town Salinas and the National Steinbeck Center. Next up, a trip to Danville.